consultants, they say, listen, they ask for your watch and then they tell you the time, right? So once in a while it's a little different. Can you bring this up or can you not bring this up? Because I will need to, okay, I'll just have to read over there. The second thing is, obviously, I'm very excited to be here. I think overall, we are a little bit at an inflection point in the sense that we are now 18 months into the new government. We've seen some positive movements. We've seen some positive indications. We've seen overall the intent to go in the right direction. And I think the key issue over here is now turning intent into real action on the ground, major impact on the ground. That is valid for the government in the center, and it's also valid for the government here in Karnataka or in many of the states. If we look at the situation in Karnataka, overall what we have, it's okay, the rest I'll take care. Yeah, just 1 second, I'll do it. Oh my. Sorry, guys. Now this computer takes a little while, but sooner or later we'll be there. So basically what we see in Karnataka is that in terms of the impact in India, it is large. In terms of size, it's large. In terms of population, it is reasonable as far as impact on GDP is concerned. 6% of India's GDP are basically done here in Karnataka, 7% of its capital, a large amount of exports, and that's both an opportunity and a threat because the structure of these exports is massively skewed towards IT software. The state has some global recognition in terms of having promoted itself very attractively and very convincingly as the Silicon Valley of India, and fares quite well in many of these rankings in terms of ease of doing business. Now, there are two things about these rankings. Anybody who joined us in Delhi had an opportunity to listen to a couple of speakers who severely questioned the validity of these rankings, right? Many saying, listen, this is actually putting us too high on the overall scale because it overemphasizes some of our cities. And also there is an issue when you talk to industry in Karnataka or generally in South India, they do feel, or many of those industrialists feel a certain sense of neglect. They do feel that there are issues that need to be addressed. If you look back at the 19 months that it took Bosch to get an electrical connection, those kind of facts definitely do not lead to an investment climate that is positive. On the positive side, what we do have is we have 80 Fortune 500 companies, more than 700 MNCs in Karnataka. That's very positive. 40% of India's software export is coming out of Karnataka, and we have some key sectors identified going forward. This is definitely IT, but it's biotechnology. There are some biotechnology incubators here in Bangalore, for example, that are trying to basically support the pharma industry in its way up the value chain. We have activities in nanotechnologies, automobiles and auto components. I can tell you from personal experience, this is not the state where you would invest at this particular point in time. Yes, you have Toyota, that's great. You have a little bit of manufacturing in Hosur, but the number one location today is Gujarat and Maharashtra, then potentially Delhi and Chennai. But for Karnataka to be on the list of investment destinations, I think we will have to work a little harder. In terms of overall growth, we've seen growth pretty much in line with India's GDP, 7.5% going forward. That's good. But what we are also seeing is that the northern states, for example, what happened in Bihar, are actually maybe on a slower and lower sort of denominator or basis, are moving faster than some of the traditional engines that we had in India driving the development of India in the past. If we look at the growth rates, we see that there's been also a significant fluctuation, and that's just a reflection of our exports being highly dependent on IT, and our export intensity in Karnataka being at 47%. 47% is higher than what China has. China today is around 30%. India overall is 25 to 30%, so we're much more exposed to the outside world than the rest of the country. 47% is what you see in Germany, and anybody who invests in the German DAX will tell you that as soon as there is a problem globally, you'll see it, and this is what we see in the GDP in Karnataka as well, with 1.3% growth in 2009-10. The government has done quite a bit in terms of initiatives. We have biotechnology finishing schools, we have SEZs, we are working on a dedicated automotive policy. All of that is positive, all of that is welcome, but I think from an overall perception, what industry needs is execution of policies within a reasonable time frame. Now, with the new industry minister, what I'm told in Karnataka, things have improved, right? There seems to be a greater willingness to listen to industry, but this is absolutely necessary if you want to continue to attract investment. Overall investment has been quite okay, reasonably steady, about 1 to 2 billion in terms of FDI. We pride ourselves in being the Silicon Valley of India. If you look at the VC and PE investments in startups in India, 1.5 billion is actually going to Delhi. 500 million is going to Bangalore, 500 million is going to Mumbai, about 100 is going to Chennai, and 100 is going to Pune. So again, we can't take the kind of position that we've created for ourselves for granted. This is something that needs continuous, consistent effort and push in order to be up there and remain up there. This is just some statistics on FDI. I think the important part is our FDI has gone into construction, into services, into computer software and hardware, into trading, and then into fermentation breweries, into fermentation industries, which I hope covers breweries, right? Being a German, that's of dear interest to me. What it hasn't gone into is manufacturing. And again, we pride ourselves of having all the brains. We are doing a lot of investment and development for aerospace. We're doing this for automotive. Where are our products? I was once at a NASCOM event with Baba Kalyani. He's a very dear friend and very outspoken person. And he said, listen, all you IT companies and engineering services companies, what the hell are you doing? Where is an Indian train? Right? So the question that we have to face, and I think this is something that Bangalore and Karnataka could take up, is really how do we leverage our intellectual property and turn it also into real products? I know it's great to have unicorns. A friend of mine is working at Zomato pretty much from the beginning. He's a very happy guy. No? Fantastic. Good for him. This is not enough for the rest of the country. We need production. We need manufacturing. We need the integration of products with associated services. And Amit is looking at me, so I better move on. This is what I talked about before. Our export dependency is A, skewed towards IT and electronics, B, relatively high. This is great, but also a risk. And in terms of investment flow into Karnataka, I think the one thing that I want to point out is there's been a reduction. If you look at the right-hand side, right, there's been a reduction in terms of the employment that has been created. So this is, again, something that we need to focus on. Now, I'm personally not somebody who says FDI is the solution. FDI is just one way to create jobs. It's much more important what we can do internally by enabling Indian companies to get a level playing field for global competition. But nevertheless, FDI helps. Policies are providing impetus. I think the same thing applies that I said before. A lot has happened. It's not that we're not working. How do we get the rubber on the road? And I think with that, I'll just sort of, in the interest of time, come to a close. Karnataka has some issues, but it also has a lot of opportunity. One of the opportunity is people like living in Bangalore, despite the traffic. Right? I lived here in 2000, 2001, 2002. We didn't have a Krispy Kreme, right? I could survive that. But I was able to get from one end in Bangalore to the other in 30 minutes, right? So this today is a little bit more challenging. But existing firms are looking for opportunities for expansion. People want to invest. New firms are looking for fast approval processes for setting up business in the state. This is an attractive location. Policy support is required in terms of formulating consistent policies, which is a key challenge. We've seen policies that actually contradicted each other. That doesn't really help. And again, it's about execution. Human resource development is one of the things that we need to work on. And I strongly believe that support for manufacturing needs to be relooked at. If you look at Tamil Nadu currently is in trouble, right? I mean, you talk to people over there, everybody's unhappy. However, one thing that Tamil Nadu has done is it has not only focused on IT, it has also built a reasonably solid manufacturing-based diversification of your overall economic footprint is potentially a good option also for Karnataka and should definitely be looked into in detail. Oops, this is actually supposed to be not there. So that's it from my side. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to take them now or later. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilfried, for setting the stage. We'll quickly go into the next speaker. Can I have Mr. Umesh Aradhya to come and give his remarks. In fact, he is an expert on demography, and he actually heads the Family Planning Association here. He also is the Child Rights Commission's chairman and works very closely with the government, and he's going to present his views. Sir, you have 5 to 7 minutes, please.
Good morning, friends. Namaskar. So I take this opportunity to congratulate the organizers for organizing this seminar in the interest of the Karnataka in future of wide and spread ideas to come to the Karnataka. Basically, Karnataka stands first in many areas, many achievements. If you go through any of our records, our people, the people from Karnataka, stands first in the country and somewhere in the world also. Because our tradition, I wanted to say, I don't want to quote any data like our previous speaker. We are the people known for our tolerance, patience, and commitment. To the height of, if you go to any beggar's house, he will offer his food to you and he starve for another 3 days. That is Karnataka. Okay? With that, we are having all nature's God-given gift. Somewhere we are having a big and good seashores, hill stations, rivers, falls, jungles, and cultural-wise, our Belur, Halebid, Mysore, Shravana-Belagula, many things are there. Because people are so patient and tolerant, they are not able to achieve more and more. Because they offer everything to others and they keep quiet. Many times our people are said to be the lazy people, but they are not lazy. They are really, repeatedly I am telling, tolerance and patience of our people. Regarding political scenario, we are, what I say is not blessed with a good political connectivity. From my childhood, I am observing, whenever there is a government at center, the opposite government will be in Karnataka. So we are not able to coordinate to get things done immediately. So that is one of the lacking things. Nowadays, because of global environmental changes, etc., we are feeling acute shortage of water and electricity, so that we cannot attract people to invest and come here. For that matter, the governments are planning something, they are going heads away to do something, but very next year they will be changed. There is no continuity of the things to be taken or things to be decided. At the outset, the people of Karnataka, mainly believing in tradition and culture of the country or the nation or local way. In Karnataka itself, we are having hundreds of culture and hundreds of language we are having. Though it is not written language, their local languages are there. Hundreds types of food. If you cross 100 meters from here, you'll find a new dress, new food, and new people. That is the interesting part of Karnataka. And regarding education, though government is giving such a beautiful free education to the poor and needy and marginalized, there are private schools coming up. Their intention may be different, but they are going to give us the good education in Bangalore and other cities. And many of you think that Karnataka means Bangalore. But you must go out of Bangalore. You travel 100 kilometers away from Bangalore, you will come to know real Karnataka. Because now Bangalore, we never say that is Bangaloreans. It is all exported or imported from states or from abroad, etc. After this high IT hub in Bangalore, Silicon City, everything you people say. But our people are not at all benefited by this. We have offered our land, we have offered our electricity, we have offered our water, everything to the outsiders, and we are slaves in that hub. So this is very sorry to say these things. But somehow, with this outcome of this one, see that our grassroots level people from Karnataka, going away from Bangalore, get them something, because entirely our 80% of people are depending on agriculture only. Agriculture means water, water means rains. Rains are not in our hands, and our people have not made such a progressive planning that they can store water, they can get water like that. Many systems are wasting. So Arcanet is one of the best product here. Coffee is known to the world, and paddy, how you say IT hub, paddy is also one of the paddy, we call the treasure of paddy is here in Karnataka. We are having all the facilities, but there is no motivation for us at the grassroots level. You people come to Bangalore, meet the hires, and go away from it with all plans, but it will not reach to the real Karnataka people. So my humble request with you all, the outcome of this one must reach our people, not in Bangalore, outside Bangalore. Regarding, I heads the Child Rights Commission. Regarding children, they are coming up very well, very knowledgeable, and education-wise also. But again, after this IT and this one, we are facing many sexual abusers, especially in Bangalore city. So with this general look, I feel I once again welcome you all to see something will be benefited out of this workshop and gain to the Karnataka people. Thank you. Namaskar.